Every couple of months, it seems like there's some sort of viral video that goes across the airsofting industry showing someone who is misusing their HPA airsoft gun to deliberately cause harm to other players. And a lot of people like to throw things out like, it's all the speed softer's fault, or why don't we just ban HPA as a whole from our field? And a lot of people really like the idea of banning HPA. However, it's a really bad idea. It's something that is, in my opinion, not effective at dealing with problem players, and there really are better solutions out there than just wholeheartedly banning HPA. So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about my personal opinions on this as someone who uses AEGs and HPA airsoft guns, and what we can do to actually combat problem players in our industry, and that will be the topic for today's video, so make sure to stay tuned. What's up guys, my name is Lane and welcome to the BB Warrior. We're here to help you have a better time both on and off the airsofting field, and let's talk about HPA bans. So hypothetically, let's say you own an airsoft field. Congratulations, your dreams have come true, you own your own field. So let's say there's some players causing issues at your field and they're cranking up their HPA engine, shooting too hot, too fast, whatever it may be. So you decide this is a problem, this is going to stop people from coming to my field. I'm banning HPA across the board. Well, there's a few issues with that. So first off, I think that something that people who don't use or understand HPA know is that mechanical HPA, so things that are just so happen to be powered by high pressure air as their air source, they can't be adjusted like an HPA engine can. So a prime example of this is high kappas that have a CQB Russian adapter, or the same with like an 870 or a shotgun or a gas blowback rifle that just is powered by HPA. Because if you live somewhere like I do, it is -degrees outside right now. It is so cold, if I wanted to go shoot my gas blowback outside, I don't think I could get more than one round off before it freezes. So for someone like me that lives in a colder environment that can't really use gas blowback after October, well, it's really nice to have a power source that's going to be consistent from shot to shot, and HPA is very, very good at being consistent. So I think that fields that ban every type of HPA, I just think it's kind of stupid because you can't adjust your rate of fire or your FPS like you can on an engine. So I know what you're going to say, well, why don't we just ban engines? Let's say that there's some person at your field that's shooting 60 rounds a second and deliberately trying to hurt someone. So you say, well, we're getting rid of just engines. People who use high kappas, you can stay, I guess. Well, what's going to stop that person who is abusing the rate of fire of their HPA unit from going out and buying a DSG? I could go on my phone right now and buy a DSG from Umbrella Armory that shoots 50 rounds a second at 390 FPS. I'd be in your rule set, but I'd still be deliberately hurting people and just being a bad player. But I'm following the rules now. So what's a logical way to do this? I think that there's a way to do this without banning players who use HPA or making them feel left out or saying, well, you can only play by yourselves. Just put a rate of fire cap on your field. There are so many people that just don't think of that, and they'd rather just rush and ban HPA because they're emotional after seeing that video and they're angry. Just put a rate of fire cap on your field. Say, we don't allow over 20 or 25 or whatever rounds per second at our field. Just about every single chronograph has something that will do rate of fire nowadays. As long as you don't have an ancient chronograph or you're not trying to like repurpose a paintball chronograph, you'll probably be good to go. Like I said, just about every single chronograph out there does rate of fire. So just train your staff members how to test for rate of fire, do spot checks if you feel like someone's shooting above that, or anything like that. And we're going to talk about field staff in a moment because I think that that's another big issue. But I just want to reiterate, it's not the engines that are the problem. It's the players who choose to abuse the system, or any system, mind you, to deliberately hurt people. So one of the best analogies I've heard for this is cars. The speed limit here in the United States on a highway is 65 miles per hour. Do cars go over 65 miles per hour? Just about all of them do. If you have a car that can't go over 65, you probably have a problem. So do we ban cars to go over 65? Absolutely not. While a car can do it, we have limits in place so that they don't do it. And I know what you're going to say, well, BB Warrior people speed all the time and they break the law. Well, if I'm a police officer or a referee in this case, if we're talking about BB wars, if I catch someone who's breaking the rules, I should be making an example out of that and punishing them for that. Because if I let one person slide speeding, everyone's going to think that they can speed. Or if I let one person cheat, other people are going to feel like I don't care as a referee and that they can cheat. And that is not good for your business because people are not going to want to come back. So I hope that that analogy makes sense. It's the best one that I've heard for it. But I do want to talk about businesses in airsoft and a theory that I have held for a very long time, and I've had a lot of people agree with me on it. And keep in mind, I'm talking about myself in this statement. There are a lot of people that are in business in airsoft that have never been in a business or a management position before in their life, and they don't know how to do it effectively. I'm including myself in that statement. For those of you who didn't know, I opened an airsoft field or an airsoft store, after I graduated high school. Needless to say, I was not very successful in it, and there's a reason why that's not what I do for a living. So there's a lot of people just like me who are in that same situation. Now imagine that as a field owner who has employees and layout that they have to make, and they have to make rules and make sure that people are following the rules. It's a considerably harder job to do because you're essentially babysitting people. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to be very good at it. Now, am I knocking these people or saying that they're bad at what they do? No. If it wasn't for people like that, airsoft wouldn't be as big as it is. And the people that go out and make successful fields, well, that's what I love seeing because it grows airsoft. But I feel like there's a lot of education that could go on in airsoft that would make people more aware of this and make fields better, safer, and, not try to eliminate a lot of your player base, because there are a lot of people that run HPA, and by saying, hey, you can't use HPA at my field anymore, well, that's just going to alienate them, and they're going to find a different field to go to. If you're a field owner and you're having issues with someone abusing HPA at your field, call up a company that makes an HPA engine. Call up Wolverine Airsoft, or Polar Star, or ProTech, or whoever, and just ask them. I can guarantee you that they would love to sit down and talk to you on ways to make HPA safe and fun and fair for everyone at their field. Because when there's bad news about HPA or bad publicity, it's bad for all of them. If it's one company's engine that the person was using, HPA in its entirety is just swept under the blanket as being this system that's for cheaters and used to hurt people. So if you call any of those companies, I am sure that they would love to sit down and talk to you to make things more safe. And I think that part of it is just that people don't know about HPA, especially people who have never used it before. I didn't know as much about HPA until I started using it. I was a field referee long before I had ever touched an HPA airsoft gun. And I will wholeheartedly admit, if I had known better about the system, I would have been better at dealing with cheaters and people abusing it. So if you don't know much about HPA, just learn. If it's your job, be good at your job. And I feel like that's something that a lot of fields don't do, is that they see these, like the HPA ban, as more of a short-term thing. However, it should be a medium to long-term thing in your business to make sure that players are safe and they feel like they're going to have a good time there. There are plenty of fields I will not return to solely because I don't like the way that they are operated, or it's unprofessional, or the referees just don't do their job. And this is something that I feel like is really overlooked in airsoft, is that airsoft is kind of about hospitality. Again, you are basically babysitting children and adults, because we're all children because we play with toy guns. And a lot of people just don't put as much attention into the hospitality part of airsoft. Now, I'm not saying that you have to sit there and swaddle everyone that comes to your field and make them feel like they're going to be on a Call of Duty kill streak, but making sure that they have the ability to enjoy themselves in an environment that's not going to be full of toxicity, or people cheating, or people deliberately trying to hurt each other. Well, I don't see why you wouldn't want that for your field. So again, if you don't know much about HPA, learn about jewel creep, learn about how to apply a tournament lock, and how to make sure that people aren't adjusting their FPS, because it's not HPA that's the problem, it's the player. If they can't use HPA, they'll go out and buy a DSG to have a great rate of fire, or they'll go out and buy a PTW to change their FPS on the fly. If someone wants to abuse the system that they are using to cheat or to deliberately hurt others, they will find a way. And I hope that's what you guys learned or got, that was the message of this video, is that it's not the system, it's the player. I want to know, what do you guys think about HPA bans in airsoft? Do you agree with me, or you think that they are a bad idea and they just hurt the community and fracture it rather than actually improve things? Or do you disagree with me and you think that, well, HPA is bad and we should just have them play by themselves, or just get rid of it entirely to make airsoft more fun for everyone? Make sure to let me know down in those comments below. I love having discussions with you guys and discussing these topics. I think that it's a hard discussion, but it's something that we need to do in airsoft, because HPA is, in my opinion, where we're seeing the most progress and the most innovation in our hobby. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you have not already, to join our community. And while you're at that, make sure to hit that bell icon next to it to stay updated when we post new videos every Tuesday and Friday here on the channel. As well, we still have some of the BB Warrior patches if you'd like to help support the growth of the channel. It helps me buy better equipment to make better videos for you guys. Make sure to check us out on social media. Links will be down in the description below, right next to where you can find that BB Warrior patch, or in the end card. This has been Lane from the BB Warrior, discussing why I think that HPA bans are stupid, they don't work, and they just cause more harm than good to your business. And I will see you all next time.